Here.
3 beloved isles.
1 beloved station, Radio Cayman.
The voice.
The heart.
The soul of the Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctor's Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctor's Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And giversplanet.com. Cayman's online platform for fundraising and charitable donations.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees. So fair. Today is Friday, the 6th day of May, 2022, right here in the beautiful Cayman Islands. We hope and we trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable evening. Those of you who are on the roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you are a pedestrian or a cyclist or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please, please, please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road, because remember, by so doing, the life you save may just be your own. For those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday. Or if you have celebrated one over the past few days, or if you will be celebrating one over the weekend as well, and our own Miss Paulette Connolly here at Radio Cayman will be celebrating her birthday on Sunday, Mother's Day, as well. So she will have a double celebration, a birthday and on Mother's Day as well. We want to wish her in advance a happy birthday. And of course, all of the mothers here at Radio Cayman, we want to wish them a happy Mother's Day as well on Sunday when it comes, as well as all of you mothers out there. We want to wish you a happy Mother's Day as well. So if you're going to be celebrating one birthday over the weekend, we want to wish you a happy birthday in advance as well. For those of you who have lost loved ones, we again want to express our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility, either here or overseas, we wish you a speedy recovery as well. So folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. Again, this morning, it is that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson waiting to take your calls. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flo. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261, and of course you can follow us on YouTube. You do that simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. As you know, or you may have known, that on Thursday the certificate honor and badge of honor ceremony took place at the Government House, and at that event, 39 recipients who were named in this year's New Year's honors received their awards from the governor and the premier. And we here at Radio Cayman want to give a big shout out to our boss, Director Miss Norma McField, who received her certificate and badge of honor from the governor as well. So big shout out, big congratulations to her as well. Of course, if it was left to us, we would give her an OB or a MBE, or even make her a dame as well. But we do not have the power to do that, so we want to congratulate her on being awarded with the certificate and badge, Queen's Certificate and Badge of Honor as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning. Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
You alone, the doc with you, or what happened?
No, I have guests this morning, so I didn't have the pleasure of having Doc at all this week. It was pretty busy.
Let me talk real quick then.
Okay.
I had the cabinet have confirmed me to what they call a beautification task force.
Okay.
It used to be the beautification committee or something before. Mm-hmm. So they're going. Mr. Brian is taking it to another level, and he's very, very serious about cleaning up Cayman. And it's headed up. The task force is being headed up by MP Heather Borden and chaired by our good friend Teresa Pickering.
Right.
And they are very, very serious about cleaning up Cayman. Not only cleaning up Cayman, because if they clean it up, they'll do it again. They're talking about changing the mentality of the people that mess up and throw their junk and litter Cayman. They're talking about this going as far as for Caymanians putting serious fines on them. Mm-hmm. And for non-Caymanians, this is how far they want to take it. Any work permit holders that are found, we're talking about canceling their work permit. And people who have PR, that too will be canceled. So that is
if they're convicted of an offense?
Convicted of littering the Cayman Islands.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to be here, why litter Cayman? Keep it clean.
Mm-hmm.
So why would you want to come here and litter the Cayman Islands and be here at the same time? No. If you're not keeping it clean, then you go somewhere else and dirty wherever you go. But you're not going to do it here.
Okay.
Work permit, PR, cancel.
Okay. Now you've spoken about littering, but I did see some mention, and there's so many complaints about abandoned cars, or even people keeping cars on the roadside that are not in operation any longer. Will that be addressed as well as the makeup of neighborhoods where you have illegal garages operating and things of that nature? Will it extend to all of that?
Yes, Mr. Corner, that is on the forefront. Matter of fact, they're looking into changing various sections of the traffic law to give the committee more teeth. And because, people will have a car, and as soon as it's being identified, the first thing they'll say, oh, no, it's a good car, it's this and that. So you'll be given X amount of time to have that car put back on the road or get down to the license department to have it sorted out properly. If not, that too. That is the number one thing on the list, because that is the major problem right now, the derelict vehicles all over the place. So, and then a lot of people are using the curbside, the roadside, to abandon the car or to park the car.
Okay. Now, a few days ago, I was talking to someone, and they mentioned these roundabouts that have been sponsored by various individuals or companies, and they have pointed out to some that are well maintained, regularly maintained, and everything, and others that literally nothing is being done by those companies. Will something like that be addressed as well?
Yeah. So see, we should set a certain standard. If you're gonna, you can't just use it to advertise a sign. That should not be the case. If it's not being beautified and to our lichens, or to not the committed lichens, but to the Cayman Islands lichens, the people of the Cayman Islands, then that agreement, I guess, that they have with NRA or whoever, that will be that should be terminated and passed on to someone else who we think that can maintain and have the place looking the way that it should be kept. So
okay.
That too. We're going at everything.
Yeah.
So if you got an old bicycle, throw down in your yard.
all inside the house, in the garage. They've treated better than I am in the house.
Okay. I guess we'll have Rob Walker's Road
and check a friend out there. Yeah. Not calling any names. Okay. Before you go there, I have another question for you. You spoke about the committee and everything. Now, you know how Dr. Mack feel, you know how I feel, and I believe that I've heard you share the similar sentiments as well about these advisory district councils. In the absence of those, how effectively do you believe your committee can operate? Whereas if we had established advisory district committees, then you have a legally recognized body that you could partner with in the various constituencies. How would that help? That would be appropriate. That would be more helpful if that was to happen. But so far, what I see, they got representatives from all the different districts that is on there that are representing the various districts. I know there's people from Cayman Bragg, there's people from Bordentown and Savannah. Even Savannah already have a committee, a side committee that are already cleaning up their area. So I think that came about from MP Borden. She had that in place, like, prior to this. Yes, long time ago.
Yeah, she had that, in place long time ago. So they're very instrumental and advanced in keeping Savannah clean. I heard mention made of the cleanup the other day, and they couldn't find a lot of litter in the Savannah area to pick up, So that is good.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have. Yeah,
that's a good problem to have. So we got members from various districts, from all the different districts. So I guess that'll replace the people that for some reason the elected members don't want to create in the districts. So it's looking promising so far.
Okay, thanks. Thank you very much for that information, and wish you all the best and the success with your committee. Okay.
I'll call your boy up in Walker's Road and tell him.
Got all those bicycles.
Yeah, derelict bicycles too. Not serious cars.
All right, take care, folks. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, we do have another caller on hold. We will take that caller, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
Following a launchpad decade during the 1950s, the 60s saw several major developments as well. In 1961, the local branch of the Red Cross was established. In 1962, following Jamaica's independence from Great Britain, the Cayman Islands decided to remain a crown colony, governed by an administrator who reported directly to Westminster. The Mosquito Research Control Unit began operating in 1965, as well as the formation of the Chamber of Commerce, the publishing of the Caymanian Weekly, the precursor for the Caymanian Compass, and the Rotary Club of Grand Cayman was chartered. In 1966, landmark legislation was introduced to encourage the banking industry. In 1968, Cayman Airways began flying, and in 1969, the Cayman Drama Society was formed.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Since 1993, Rotary Central has worked diligently each year to provide quality bus shelters to our community. A traveling convenience to our school children, the elderly, young people going to work, guest workers, and visitors using the public bus. We, Rotary Central, help you, our advertisers, make it happen. Your marketing dollar travels a far way, positioning your message, your product, your services, your presence in over 83 bus shelters. Every dollar you spend, every advert you place helps to build another bus shelter, providing modest comfort for Cayman travelers. Reserve space now on the only billboard medium in the Cayman Islands. Email rotaryshelters@gmail.com. rotaryshelters@gmail.com. The Bus Shelters, a partner in community convenience. Another inspiration program by Rotary Central Cayman Islands.
Every day in the Cayman Islands, nonprofits and their volunteers work tirelessly, improving our communities and the lives of the people within them.
With GiversPlanet.com, you can make a difference by supporting a fundraising effort or starting your own. Givers Planet provides an online solution to conveniently raise money for your worthy cause. Whether you are fundraising for medical needs, education, animal welfare, youth programs, religious missions, school PTA efforts, or a nonprofit.
Simply create your fundraiser at GiversPlanet.com and spread the word to your local and international supporters so that they can visit and make a secure online donation. Start fundraising online today with GiversPlanet.com.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vamped Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamped Motors, Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We do have a caller in. Okay. Caller hung up. Hopefully they'll call back. This person has written and said, so happy to hear the discussion right now, talking about cleanup committee. Home mechanics are destroying the ambience of housing estates. Abandoned, wrecked cars are an eyesore, and abandoned cars are an eyesore. Miss Susan, I got a phone call coming in at the same time. It just interrupted my reading. That's okay. I got it. Yes, are an eyesore, and sometimes in places that dangerously obstruct views of oncoming traffic, like the one at the top of Beach Bay Road. Okay, good. It is hiding the traffic coming up on Shamrock Road from the east. And that seems to be an abandoned vehicle there. So, and I know that we have very active community police officers in that area, so I'm sure that is something that they will look into once it has been highlighted to them as well. We do have a caller. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Morning, O.C. How you doing?
Good morning. I'm fine. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. I listened to the talk. I heard about this beautification committee from my friend Mr. Edney from East End.
Okay.
And I just heard somebody, I'm not sure who it was, that say that they have a committee in the block. Well, now we'll see. You know this for yourself. There is nobody that has called in about garbage, about old Carl Mode and Elvis McKeever, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know what they got up here, but not one soul spoke to me. Not one of the elected members, nobody in the public.
I think he said it's going to be extended to the BRAC. Now, whether or not they have already appointed members for the BRAC, I'm not sure. I'll try to determine that.
Yeah, well, I wish somebody could. When we got two representatives, I would figure that one of them would say something, because it's nobody talks about it more than me, because, I would go around telling them, all of these old garages, we need to put a spot up on the bluff, the least people, the places,
mm-hmm.
and all of the, so you got to get out the airport and drive and go to the two hotels that we got there. Just that in short drive. It's a disgrace. It really is, but I can tell you one thing. I don't know if God knows best or people know best, but if Elvis Jeffrey McKeever were getting paid to represent the people of Cayman Islands, they would not be there. No. But let's put it this way. whoever is in charge of enforcing the law, you hear, they were not tired to see my face. Oh, yeah. Thank you very much for your time, O.C.
Thank you very much, for that as well. Now, I am ill-prepared on this particular issue because we did have a caller, and I think that question was posed on more than one occasion as to the whether or not Caymanian history was taught in our schools. And I took the opportunity to do some research, and I was eventually led, when doing my research, led to the education law, Cayman Islands education law, and there is a section in there that tells you what should be included in the curriculum. Unfortunately, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time this morning, so I was trying to Google it while I talk and trying to type it in, but I don't want to interrupt my train of thought. So I will try to cover that when we return. We will of course, have guests in the studio at 8:30. Well, probably before 8:30, after the 8 o'clock news. We will have the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Roy McTaggart, and MP Mr. Joey Hugh in the studio. You heard me mention on Wednesday the fact that they had switched to Friday to allow me to be able to accommodate Dr. Chami in the studio. So they're going to be on this morning. There certainly will be lots to talk about. At some point in time, we'll touch on what's happening in the British Virgin Islands as well. And I still lament the fact that other than Turks, some members of the Turks and Caicos Legislative Assembly, the OECS, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, they basically have been the only ones in the Caribbean that have spoken up about possible takeover by the UK in the British Virgin Islands, partial suspension of the BVI Constitution. We're not sure what's going to happen with that yet. I think there was some indication that maybe by the weekend a decision would be made. We have seen now that motion for a vote of no confidence in the government of the former Premier Andrew Foy went through. We have seen yesterday that the governor has now sworn in a new Premier, Natalia Wheatley, and new members of cabinet, cross-party group. So you have the Leader of the Opposition now who is a minister. You have another member of the opposition who is also a minister. Another member who has gone over to the government side, but he's not in a ministerial position. So there's only one person in the opposition. Now, this was done, it appears as if this was done on the BVI legislators' initiative. Not sure whether or not in the talks with the Minister for the Overseas Territories, whether or not she indicated that this would be acceptable. The governor, of course, has gone through with it, whether or not that's any indication that the UK will accept that and not go as far as is recommended. My take on it, I do not see the UK government going against the recommendations of what the Commission of Inquiry recommended. And bear in mind that their recommendations, they didn't give many options to the minister, to Parliament. They didn't say, well, you could do this, either this or that. The big one, the nuclear option was suspension of the Constitution. Folks, top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, we will have Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Roy McTaggart, and MP Mr. Joey Hugh in the studio. So Enjoy the news. Don't change that dial. And rejoin us after the 8 o'clock news.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now by Foster's is 8 o'clock.
When you're on the go, the experienced team at Foster's Pharmacy are here to help. Drop off your prescription while you shop or WhatsApp us and we'll prepare it, ready for your arrival.
Whether you need prescription or over-the-counter medications, blood glucose testing, or advice on vitamins and supplements, we're here early in the morning to late at night. Both of our locations at our Cayman Bay and airport stores are open 7 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday.
For more info, visit fosters.ky/pharmacy. Foster's Pharmacy. Better health because we care.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
Good morning. It's time now for Radio Cayman's Morning News. I'm Dion Anglin. Cayman Carnival Batabanu is on this weekend from the Friday night fete in Central Georgetown featuring Patrice Roberts and Ricardo Drew.
They will be at an event that we've entitled Drink Water and Mind Your Business. This happens at the Sandbar on the waterfront in Georgetown.
Donna Myrie Stevens says then on Saturday it's parade day.
We start with a fantastic float with a great turtle. You know, turtle is the whole meaning of Batabanu, the tracks and the whole historical significance with the first week of May being turtle nesting season. So that is why the beginning of May is always Cayman Carnival Batabanu to kick off.
She says this year will feature a more international flavor with diverse groups participating locally. The parade route will also be different this year. The details are available at rcips.ky. You can expect rolling closures through the afternoon, and this year it all wraps up at the Cayman Bay Festival Green with the Carnival Village offering fun kid activities and food throughout the day before turning into the grand finale for the parade in the evening. You can find out more on caymancarnival.com. And while police want you to have fun, they also want you to be safe. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more on that.
Tonight between 8 p.m. and Saturday at 3:30 a.m., motorists are advised to avoid the section of North Church Street between the Fort Street and Mary Street intersections. That's because there will be heavy pedestrian traffic in the area. The section of roadway will be closed to vehicular traffic starting at 9 p.m. Police also say that patrons attending various events in the Georgetown area are advised that parking along the roadway and or causing any obstructions is not permitted. There will be police signage and cones in place to assist and guide you. They will issue fines via tickets to any vehicle found in contravention of the Traffic Act. Police are also stepping up their presence throughout the weekend. They say if you are planning to drink, don't drive, and make alternate arrangements for getting home before you leave for events. Whether you choose a designated driver, take a taxi, or use the Flex app. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
Thank you, April. Now for a look at news from around the world, here's the BBC.
Hungary's Prime Minister has accused the head of the European Commission of undermining EU unity on sanctions, intentionally or otherwise, over proposals to ban Russian oil imports by the end of the year. Viktor Orban said that Hungary would veto them in their current form. EU ambassadors are meeting in Brussels, as Bethany Bell reports.
Intense negotiations are underway to try to reach agreement on a sixth package of EU sanctions against Russia. The most contentious issue is the proposal to ban Russian oil in the European Union by the end of the year. Russia is Europe's biggest oil supplier. The head of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, wants the EU to stop paying Moscow huge sums of money for oil. But Hungary, Slovakia and the Czech Republic, which are heavily dependent on Russian oil, say the current proposals would be very damaging to their economies.
A senior Ukrainian official has said the next stage of trying to evacuate people from a besieged steel plant in the southern city of Mariupol is underway. The British Defence Ministry says Russian forces have been continuing their ground assault. A court in Belarus has sentenced the Russian girlfriend of a Belarusian opposition blogger to 6 years in jail. nearly a year after the pair were hauled off a Ryanair flight that the Belarusian authorities had diverted to Minsk. The incident caused international outrage. Here's Danny Eberhard.
Sofia Sapiega and her boyfriend Roman Protasiewicz were flying from Greece to Lithuania over Belarusian airspace when the authorities there intervened. They said there'd been a bomb threat, a claim since discredited. Critics denounced it as a state-sponsored hijacking to seize Mr. Protasiewicz, a prominent opponent of Belarus's authoritarian leader, Alexander Lukashenko. At a trial behind closed doors, Ms. Sapiega has been found guilty of charges including inciting social discord and illegally collecting personal information of officials. She's been ordered to pay nearly $50,000 in compensation. Mr. Protasiewicz is still to face trial.
One of the world's biggest sporting events, the Asian Games, has been postponed as the host China battles to maintain its zero-COVID policy. Thousands of competitors from across the continent were due to take part in September. Stephen McDonnell reports from Beijing.
In September this year, thousands of athletes from more than 40 countries were due to compete in the Chinese city of Hangzhou. However, the Asian Games has been suspended as China battles to contain a renewed outbreak of COVID's Omicron variant. This week, the senior leadership of the Communist Party met and restated a commitment to their zero-COVID plan, even if it means shutting down huge cities like Shanghai for months on end.
And that'll take us out of Radio Cayman's 8 o'clock morning news. I'm Dion Anglin.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
If you care about your car's performance and fuel economy, you must fill up at Jose's Escape with the new Pier 93. Experts know that the higher the octane rating, the better your engine will perform. Pier 93 is the highest octane fuel available in Cayman. Protect your car against pre-ignition and engine knocks. Top up your tank now with Pier 93 at Jose's Rubis and enter to win an awesome track bike. But there's more. Jose's offers 2 lateral flow test kits for only $10. The best KN95 masks, 2 for $5. And 10 stylish black surgical masks are only $5. Share the love. Purchase Reflections gift certificates and enter to win the amazing Trek bike.
Are you a Caymanian status holder, or a resident of the Cayman Islands who is interested in enhancing transparency, accountability, ethical standards, and promoting awareness in public bodies? If you are civic-minded with the highest level of integrity, the Commission's Secretariat, on behalf of His Excellency the Governor, welcomes your expression of interest for appointment to the various statutory commissions. For more information on the commissions and candidate qualifications, visit the Commission's Secretariat website at www.commissionssecretariat.gov.ky.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... Oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Brit K. Good like that.
Good morning. Let's take a look at the latest weather report. Current temperature is 82 degrees. Relative humidity is 79%. The barometric pressure is 29.97 inches and rising. The wind is out of the southeast at 4 knots. Overnight low temperature was 74 degrees. Synopses indicate moderate southeasterly winds, along with slight to moderate seas, will continue across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as a high-pressure system lingers over the western Atlantic Ocean. Satellite images show a few low clouds over the Cayman area, which are slowly drifting towards the southwest. Now the forecast for today calling for partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the mid-80s. Winds will be east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Tonight, pretty much the same, partly cloudy skies with a 20% chance of showers and temperatures falling to the mid-70s tonight. Winds will be east to southeast at 5 to 10 knots and seas will be slight to moderate with wave heights of 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will be this morning at 8:55, high tide this afternoon at 2 minutes after 1, and a low tide again tonight at 7:41. The sun will set this evening at 6:48 and will rise tomorrow morning at 5:54. And the outlook is calling for similar weather conditions through Sunday evening.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Brit K, where people come first.
Head east on Cove Road. Sharp left on Church Street. Sharper left. No, your other left. Did I say left? Nope, you missed it. Okay, I'm lost.
With money-saving bundling options for home and motor, we're like a GPS that doesn't steer you wrong. CG Brit K. Good like that.
Let's stop and ask for directions.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Good morning once again. Let's take a look at what's happening on the roads. Traffic is busy coming off the Ashley Tibbetts Highway. And traffic also busy coming off of Bobby Thompson Way. And further down on the Linford Pearson Highway, traffic busy coming off of Agnes Way. And on the West Bay Road, in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions, as well as coming from the West Bay four-way stop. And on Shedden Road, traffic flowing moderately. And on Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic flowing at a good pace. Busy traffic coming from the east on Crew Road. Slight delays expected as you're heading down to Georgetown. Owen Roberts Drive, traffic is light to moderate. And on Schoolhouse Road, traffic flowing pretty good. That's what's happening on your roads. Join us again at about 10 minutes after 12 o'clock. We'll give you another traffic report. Remember, click it or tick it. Have a good morning.
Subway is serving up a special new sauce, bursting with flavor in every bite. The new Savory Collection is a tropical sweet and spicy sauce made with a combination of spices, habanero peppers, thyme, onion, black pepper, ginger, citrus juices, and molasses.
So good.
Wow.
Sensational. Delicious.
Subway's Savory Collection pairs perfectly with our oven roasted chicken or steak sub. Savor the flavor. For a limited time, only at Subway. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
Tune in on Saturday evening at 8 o'clock for your Yesteryear Musicals Mother's Day edition. Your Yesteryear Musical on Breeze Radio, Saturday evening at 8 o'clock, 105.3 FM in Grand Cayman and 91.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your Yesteryear Musical, a grand selection of music in celebration of Mother's Day. Saturday evening, 8 o'clock on Breeze Radio.
At Parker's, we're known for being calm people, but did you know we're fishing people too? From fishing rods for kids and adults, to bait, lures, coolers, and more. We have everything you need to hook, line, and sink your way to a catch of the day. Quality gear, cool accessories, everyday low prices. We're fishing people. Parker's is open Monday to Saturday, 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Follow us on social media at Parkers345 or email info@parkerscayman.com for more information.
It's in our name. Fried chicken, it's our thing. Others may try, but we have the original. We put the extra and extra crispy. And our secret in everyone's mouth. So if we want to make the best chicken sandwich, we just need to put our name on it. New Kentucky Chicken Sandwich. An abundant triple-breaded filet, premium mayo and pickles, all in a buttered brioche bun. The best chicken sandwich had to be KFC.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me now, we have the Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Roy McTaggart, and also with us, Member of Parliament, former Minister, Mr. Joey Hugh. And before I say good morning to them and turn the mic over to them, I am also advised that Pastor Alson Ebanks is celebrating a birthday today as well. So we want to wish him a happy birthday. And for those of you who may not know or may not remember, he once worked for Radio Cayman as well. So, former staffer at Radio Cayman. So, Pastor Alson, happy birthday to you as well. So, gentlemen, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. And thanks, for your genuine gesture on Wednesday by agreeing to come on today so that I could accommodate Dr. Ralph Chammy on Wednesday as well. So thank you very much for that.
Well, good morning to you, OC, and thank you too as well. Joining your well wishes for Pastor Alston. I know him very well, and extend my own birthday wishes to you, Pastor Alston. Hopefully you are listening in, and also say good morning to the wider Cayman Islands, especially listeners to over in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Delighted to be here again, once again with you. It is a Friday, so looking forward to the weekend. I'll let Joey go.
Sure.
Good morning and happy Friday, and I'd like to also join in wishing Pastor Allison a happy birthday. I know he's an example for us all to follow as a religious leader, as a statesman, but what many other people may not know is the discipline he has, and he goes to the CrossFit gym every morning along with his wife, and he is there toe-to-toe with my age and younger, and embarrassingly beating us quite often in the CrossFit box. So a very happy birthday to a man that we can all follow his examples in many areas of life. And good morning to everyone in the listening public and those who are on with us on YouTube, and happy Friday to everyone.
Okay. Well, so many things are trending in the Cayman Islands. On Wednesday, also shared on the news as well. We shared the release from the Progressives in relation to the Deputy Governor's statement on the Auditor General's report and findings, and that has been trending recently. So I'd like to give you an opportunity to elaborate on what the press release that you put out said as well.
Okay, and thank you too, OC. I'll go ahead and take that to kick things off. Yeah, once I think it was Tuesday afternoon that the Deputy Governor released their press statement with regard to their conclusions on the leak and the report itself. We very much welcomed that report and the conclusions that they came to. I think Deputy Governor made it quite clear with his statement that there were no breaches with regard to Section 12 and the Constitution, and I welcome that because we felt we felt strongly as well that there was none. And I think yesterday morning the governor himself too was on radio with I think with Ms. Catron,
yes,
with Ms. Hill, I should say, and he reiterated and quite matter-of-factly just said, yes, there was none. They were very much satisfied with the quality and the extent of the investigation that was undertaken by the Deputy Governor and his team, and he was satisfied with the conclusion. So that gave me a lot of confidence and a lot of satisfaction to hear that being said. I think, for us, the Progressives, and for our former government, I think the unfortunate thing was that, some members of the media who published the report and who had, ran the story on it, I think, made accusations against the Progressives and against our government that clearly were not right. And that has caused a lot of angst, caused a lot of embarrassment. It has caused a lot of hurt to us. And I don't know. I don't like to speculate, but I'll leave it there. I won't go down that road as to motivations. But that is a situation, and we welcomed it, and hopefully then now it can be put behind us, and people can move on from where we are.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And what's your reaction to what the Deputy Governor has pointed out, that now they're working on legislation or guidelines, for what should happen? Because I think in some instances we operated on convention, if there was no written legislation in terms of what should be done at certain stages, it was basically done by convention, and we have had several experiences as far as that is concerned. We look, if you remember, way back with the Dr. Horder Memorial Hospital and the signing of that contract, as well. So, we have had experiences with these things before. So what's your reaction to them trying to remedy it?
I think I would welcome it. I think the clarity, I think when I go back in speaking about this, the term that they use is what they call a PERDA in the UK. Mm-hmm. And I'd never heard it raised locally, certainly in the previous administration when I was a part of. And OC, I think the public, everyone needs to realize that government must go on, even though there's an election. There are things that go on, and there are things that do need guidance, decisions from the sitting government right up to an election. So we have to be careful, I think, with the, how stringent those policies or procedures are that are put in place, because the one thing you don't want to do is for the whole government to come to a grinding halt just because there is an election. Life does go on. It goes on after a government comes into, a government changes, and, you have well-established conventions now, even within there, that, and we see it, quite plainly as well, that there are things that, this government, picked up the mantle on and took to completion that we had started, and we saw quite a number of things that they decided they didn't want to do, and they ended it. Mm-hmm. So, governments do have to have freedom, and I do believe, and I would overall say that I would welcome the guidance and the things, but let's see, the devil is always in the detail. Yeah. And I think that's what we have to look out for, that it isn't overly restrictive and you get some unintended consequences down the road.
Okay, Mr. Hugh?
No, I agree with the leader on that, and because when you examine things, if you take, for instance, the overseas offices, the focus was when the staff were hired, but no one looked at when the cabinet decision was actually made. And then when the cabinet decision was made, we had no idea that we were going to the elections to the polls early. We still thought we were going to the polls in mid-May sometime, late May sometime. So that adds another 6 weeks to anything. But that could be that's when I give that example, not as an excuse, but as an example that, decisions could be made when the facts are there to make that decision in cabinet, but it can take weeks and months for the various ministries to carry out the instructions of the cabinet. So where does that end? And then if we start talking about committing future governments to expenses, you're talking about loans, you're talking about all of the things that the current government are talking about, things such as holding ownership in renewables. That's committing. Those are projects that won't finish for the next 5 to 6 years, maybe 7 years, 8 years, and it's committing the country for decades to come. When we talk about borrowings, when we talk about investing in other long-term projects, will all of that have to come? Would all of those cabinet decisions have to come to the legislative assembly, to Parliament rather? So it is difficult enough. I think this government is learning as well after being 1 year in office. It is difficult enough to get things done in 4 years, much less to have to go to Parliament for every decision that the cabinet makes. So it's just there has to be some reasonability to it.
Okay, all right. If I may switch gears a little bit and talk about the British Virgin Islands and what's occurring there. We see where some members of the House Legislative Assembly in the Turks and Caicos Islands have rallied behind the TCI government and have expressed their concerns about the possible suspension of the Constitution. Yeah. And of course, no one knows better about that than the people of the Turks and Caicos Islands, because they endured it in 2009, I believe it was, somewhere around it, 2009. I think the Commission of Inquiry, I do remember that the Foreign Affairs Committee in 2007, they had hearings because those hearings coincided with the Ministerial Council meeting, and we were able to attend those hearings. So I think it would have been somewhere around 2009. So they experienced that. We also see the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States speaking out about it. Haven't seen too much published in terms of CARICOM's respond to it, and very little from the other overseas territories, Bermuda. And, we all say, but for the grace of God, it could be us at a point in time. Any concerns about, our silence in that regard, or did even you as the opposition contemplate making a statement in that regard?
I don't think we actually contemplated making a statement at this point in time. OC, we recognize as well. I mean, first of all, that's very unfortunate. That really caught everyone by surprise. It was a shock, really, to see that unfold. I think really it's very much early days in this whole thing, and in terms of the play out and how things will unfold. As you have rightly pointed out, we've been down this road before. With the TCI, I don't think if speaking to TC Islanders, the experience was not one that they cherished at all. Yep. I mean, I think there was some real, it was not all a positive outcome, and I believe that at the end of the day, that the TCI was left with very significant debt that they ended up that they were responsible for. Because my brain is still foggy with regard to it because it's been so many years, but I think that the UK government did have to advance funding to them during that time period as well. It's when I look at what's happening, this is another fellow overseas territory, and one which I think various governments locally, and certainly in even with ours. I mean, we knew the players, and I personally met Dr. The Premier Foy, and it's a very sad time for the British Virgin Islands, and it's also, but it also, I think, at the end of the day, in places or in areas where people just don't know anybody, they'll paint us all with the same brush, and that, I think, is the unfortunate situation that potential fallout that I see from these events. For us in Cayman, it gives those offshore financial services another broomstick upon which to beat us over the head with, and it's just something. It can be just a public relations nightmare for any country, and I think it is something that I'm pretty certain that Ministry of Financial Services and government itself, they ought to have their focus on that and what the potential fallout might be, and try our best to counter or to mitigate that in any way that we can.
Okay, and we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation with the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh, will continue, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. No one can stop me when I taste the feel. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now, reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
The 6:30 p.m. weather report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
System 1 loaded. 1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, and the former Minister and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh. Mr. Hugh, before I go on to another topic, I want to talk a little bit. I see where in the Bermuda news, they have indicated that they will, in October, they expect to be removed from the EU grey list, but any comments in relation to the situation in the British Virgin Islands?
Yeah, certainly. Just a brief comment on that.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the things we should look at is that in the report, the commission that was done, and the results of that, I think the important thing that we should look at is that the system works from the UK perspective, from a good governance perspective. And if the system works, why is there a need for direct governance? So a system works, you find that there's corruption, you find that there's mishandling, then you call for another election to put a set of honest individuals in there and give them an opportunity. I do personally believe it's a bit drastic. For the first step and the recommendation out of that commission is for direct rule. Now, of course, the timing, I don't know whether that's, it doesn't seem, I don't think it was
in a coincidence,
in a coincidence. It's certainly unfortunate for the people of BVI. But again, this is how democracy works, and here's a perfect opportunity for the people of BVI to restart. From the UK's perspective, they should be happy that the system works, that they were able to come in and identify where the poor governance was, and I think the UK should give the people of BVI an opportunity to rectify the situation. Concerns for Cayman for me is that if BVI ends up under direct rule, that gives them 2 years to pass legislation in BVI or to force legislation through in BVI or implement legislation in BVI surrounding financial services. And then how will that affect us in Cayman? They'll then be able to say, well, hey, we've done this in BVI and it's working there, or this is what we expect you to do. And so that is from the Cayman standpoint, that is my concern, is how will it affect us if the UK government decides to take direct rule for 2 years, if they do decide to implement legislation surrounding financial services and a lot of the things that they've been trying to force us to do. And as we have all recognized, over the years they've targeted the Cayman Islands because they felt that if the Cayman Islands did it, the other overseas territories would follow. And here now they have an opportunity to actually set the pace from
because
that
the
perspective.
governor would, if the portions of the Constitution would be suspended, the governor, even though they would set up some advisory bodies, they would only be advisory and nothing else. So the governor, can act on his own. He would be able to pass legislation, impose legislation, and this would be one of the areas. And I never really thought of that, but that has really some serious impact. Now, what I also found a little concerning was that the commissioner in his recommendations didn't provide options in relation to whether or not they should be brought under administration, suspend portions of the Constitution, or what we have seen happen now. You get a unity government form a unity government that includes members of the opposition to allow them to get it right. He didn't give any options at all. Now, my fear, and I would ask you to opine on these comments as well, I find it extremely difficult to see the UK government not adopting the recommendations of the Commission of Inquiry. Because if at the end of the day things go wrong, then the politician over there is going to say, if it goes wrong, I had the chance, I heard the recommendation, and I didn't follow them. And despite what we have seen take place now, where the vote of no confidence against the government of Hawaii was carried through, the governor did swear in a new premier, a new cabinet yesterday, which he basically is required to do based on the Constitution. But I guess that by weekend we may know what the UK intends to do otherwise. But
what I would say to that, I mean that is, just to me, that was a very significant, very significant developments overnight with regard to the BVI. And I wonder, O.C., whether that is indicative of the way the British government might be thinking now, that they would allow the BVI government to remain in place. Because I would have thought my immediate reaction when I saw the report was that, they've indicated they were going into to take direct rule, which was a recommendation of the report, I believe. And I thought that they were just going into to go wholeheartedly to go and take it over and run it. But there certainly are indicators that the UK government might be moderating their position with regard to actually taking direct rule. And I, without full knowledge of what the heck's going on down here, I would probably advocate and say, let's give the government a chance. Let them prove what they can do.
Because the TCI move was not very popular.
It was not.
And what are we now, 12, 13 years down the line, we expect more than that, especially what's happening in the Ukraine now as well. For them to do, at a different level, not from a military standpoint, but from a legislative standpoint, to do that would be highly unpopular.
I saw also where BVI received support from CARICOM.
Okay, that's good to know.
They made a statement against direct rule. I think you're onto something there, OC, where one would have thought the Commission would have said, given an option for a fresh start with a set of criteria for legislation to be passed within the next 2 years. All of this surrounds good governance, right? And so they are, our administration passed over the last 8 years a slew of legislation surrounding good governance, from standards in public life to FOI, the whole 9 yards. So these that would have been another option, and I think an option that people would have readily accepted and a way forward. So hopefully there's still time for that, and as the leader said, hopefully some of these indicators are that the UK may take a different route rather than direct rule.
Okay, we have a caller on hold, but what we're going to do is we're going to take a commercial break so that we don't have to interrupt the caller. Caller, hang in there. We're going to take a commercial break first. This way, you will get a fair opportunity for you to articulate your views. Please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross now at Vant Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
At Doctors Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctors Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Beyond Basics Medical Laser and Skincare is offering an incredible 30% off services in celebration of mamas. Visit beyondbasics.ky to shop online and save by using our promo code BBMAMA. Unwanted body hair and ingrowns? Experience laser hair removal from beyondbasics.ky. Scarring, fine lines, loose skin, and enlarged pores? Then experience microneedling, body slimming, and contouring from beyondbasics.ky. Dull, dry, and uneven skin tone? Experience the hydrofacial and peels from beyondbasics.ky. KY. Give Mama the lifestyle of confidence and beauty transformations that will create significant change she will love forever. Shop with instant, easy pay online at beyondbasics.ky this Friday and Saturday only and enjoy 30% off services with the promo code BBMAMA.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart. Member of Parliament, former Minister, Mr. Joey Hugh, also with us. We have a caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. O.C. How are you?
Good morning, I'm fine, thanks.
And good morning to Leader McTaggart and Deputy Joy Hugh.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning to you all. Just you all were discussing the BVI. I think also timing was critical because when the overseas minister had visited there, the people did come out, about 250 people did come out and protested quite loudly, I'm told. And from what I read, which was also a sign that I think they probably thought, let's see if they can do this themselves. Because what happened overnight last night, or with the swearing in of a new premier and actually revoking by the governor of Fahey's appointment and that sort of stuff, it looks like they have a coalition government. It brings me back to what happened here in 2012. And I'm wondering, when I'm finished speaking, probably we all can opine. I wonder how close we came to self-rule in 2012, because we had a problem here too, which was borderline crisis, when I think 11 out of the 11 to 3 was a vote in Parliament and in our House of Assembly at the time for no confidence, which of course removed Mr. Bush. But I'm just wondering whether the UK, and of course after that then we had the coalition government. And ever since then, they seem to like that kind of idea from the UK. I'm wondering whether the UK likes that idea of sort of, in for use of a better word, sort of hamstringing a government to not make it as powerful, for use of a better word, as opposed to a sort of a unity government where, everybody's watching each other's back or something like that. And that creates sort of not a fantastic atmosphere, I don't think, to work. But one of the areas that the Commission of Inquiry had touched on was, and of course Mr. Hugh had done something similar when we had COVID at the onset, was grants to small businesses and stuff. And I think one of the areas that he touched on, which was very ugly really, was the fact that they had approved like about $2 million, and then it grew to $7 million for grants to fisheries and small and medium-sized businesses. But the problem with that, with his report, was that over 1,500 grants was given out, but only about 100 or so people had given in reports.
Yeah, no due diligence at all.
At all.
Yeah.
So that made it quite difficult for them to sort of wriggle out of anything, and so they were sort of caught between a rock and a hard place. But I'm just wondering whether that seems to favor the UK style of rule now. Less sort of hamstring them, because, for example, I'm not sure if they have the PMFL law in the BVI, but I can assure you that they're going to have it soon, and along with some other laws that is going to make them quite subservient to the wishes of the Foreign Commonwealth Office. Anyway, but before I hang up, I would like to get some feedback from the...
Before you do that, I just wanted, one of our listeners has sent me a correction here and said it wasn't a coalition government in 2012, it was a minority government.
That is true, for the last 5 months, yeah.
Yeah, okay, but I mean, it sort of calmed the water.
Yes, the point is taken, yeah.
But it did take all of the legislative members to come together to agree to that, to allow it to continue until the next election.
Right, and of course, after that, if my memory serves me correctly, after that, we had a slew of those laws that was pushed upon us we had to pass, including the PMFL. that we had to sort of put those in place.
Yeah. Well, listen to the caller, the PMFL or PMFA as it is now known. That came into effect like from 2003, 2004. So that wasn't what came into effect in the years following were all the legislation to underpin all of those commissions established to support democracy in the Cayman Islands, like the Commission for Standards in Public Life, the Anti-Corruption Commission, those sorts of things. That's what came into effect after that time. And in fact, legislation for some of them may have actually been approved by that government at the time. I don't remember the exact timing.
Right. Just 2 things before I go. You can opine on this when I leave. When do you think we may get the code of conduct passed by Parliament here for parliamentarians? And number 2, is there anything that we can do? Because it looks like it's going to ever increase until things improve in Eastern Europe. But cost of living is really going up here in these islands, and we have some actual regulatory authorities off reg, but fuel is really, I think, out of line, and there's a lot of price gouging. I think if it was investigated thoroughly, we'll find that there's some price gouging going on there. But other food products, I mean, milk, for example, is duty-free, but costs more for a gallon of milk than a gallon of gas, or just for the same now. But can you opine on what we can do to curtail cost of living, except besides trying to cut off our lights and stuff like that, which of course we should do, but I think there's some other inherent unfairness going on with the pricing structures on this island in terms of consumer products. And then when do you think we might get the code of conduct brought to Parliament and passed there?
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, caller. Gentlemen?
Okay, well, I'll take the issue there with the code of conduct and just say that it is at a very advanced stage. There are some further amendments that the Parliamentary Management Council asked to be made, and those I understand are being dealt with, and it will come back again for final approval. So yes, it's taken longer than probably any one of us would have liked to. But it is one, I think we need to get it right rather than put out something that doesn't necessarily have all of the mechanisms in place to clearly articulate what is expected of a member of Parliament. That's all right. It's more the things that we're looking at now within Parliament are things like, what are the mechanisms for a breach? How should that be investigated? Who should be investigated? What the consequences are? What in terms of those things? So it is at a very advanced stage. I'm hopeful it won't be much longer before it actually comes back to the council for final approval and onward to the legislative assembly, I should say Parliament, for and brought into effect.
Mr. Hugh, anything you want to add?
No, I agree. I think one of my issues, or not issues, one of the things that I have been promoting is that we have to ensure that we provide the general public with A, some education, and B, a decent consultative period, because we want to make sure that this is a document that the people have been calling for, and there may be concerns that they may not what the code of conduct covers may not be exactly what the general public were expecting. And so I think there needs to be some education around what can the code of conduct do, and what can you do, where does it fall with compared to, for instance, the Constitution, the elections law, etc., and then also to give ample opportunity for public consultation on it. Because for me, I think this document is one that has been driven. This code of conduct has been driven by the public. This has been a public initiated code of conduct, and I think they should have ample opportunity to review it.
Okay, thank you very much for that. We do have another caller on hold. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, good morning.
Good morning.
And good morning to your panel.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I don't know who could answer this question, if you can answer it. If you guys were to be able to run the island again in the future, what would your first job would be in concern of the beach entrance for us that has no other beach to go to in this Cayman Islands, throughout the island? And another thing, what can you say about what's happening right now with the beaches and, people putting up fences, putting up signs saying beaches closed and so forth? Could you kind of elaborate on that and tell us where we really stand here in this island? If you know, if you don't know, I understand. And one more question. When someone buys a piece of beach property, do you know or can you find out how far down that beach the property exists? And if they own the beach line going into the water and own the water? I'll leave that with you guys this morning. Thanks for taking my question.
Thank you. Thank you very much, caller.
Yeah. The issue with surrounding the beach, I think it's this has gone on forever. Let me just first say that the last administration, I know that this current administration as well, have continued to purchase as much waterfront land as we possibly can. During our administration, I think we doubled or tripled the size of the public beach in East End, doubled the size of the public beach in Bordentown. We bought properties in West Bay and Sister Islands, properties that we thought could become future campsites, public parks, areas for the general public to enjoy. The beach, anything from the high water mark down is the Queen's Bottom, and that means that it belongs to the country. The setbacks and where the private property belongs has always been based on the high water. Not always. It's a sore subject for me. It was changed in the 80s, I think, early 80s. From the vegetation line to the high water mark. Now, the high water mark can change drastically from high tide to low tide to full moon to new moon to winter versus summer where the beaches are. And of course, as we see the movement of the sand up and down, developers can be quite smart in when they decide to do that high water mark survey. One of the goals of Plan Cayman, and certainly myself and my ministry, was to try and return to a setback based on the vegetation line. But at the end of the day, these are the laws that are clearly defined on where your property begins and ends. And but people do have the right of passage through the beach accesses. They have the right of passages through to the high water mark as the Queen's Bottom, and then there is some gray area in between there as to where do a private property actually put their stakes down to say this is my private property. And I think it's something that we just have to continue to promote to waterfront owners, to beach landowners, that when you buy property there, this is a deal. It's tough because when you buy a property inland, you can put a wall right around your property from border to border, but you can't do it when you buy on the water. You can, but people are going to scream and cry, and you may have to tear it down. So that's just one of the realities of owning waterfront property. And over the years, we have lived harmoniously together with one or two little hiccups, but I think that's where we should focus on promoting, continuing that.
Okay, we're going to go to our headline news at the top of the hour. When we return, I'd like you to, if we could come back to that, where you just left off, Mr. Hugh, and talk about whether or not we need some creative legislation. When we look at the day and age that we're in, whether or not we need creative legislation, and yes, there are constitutional protections in relation to property and everything else. But maybe we need to come up with something other than the vegetative, the vegetation line, or the high water mark as well. And maybe we have to be creative with that, and that is something that the government may need to impose. It may come about as being heavy-handed, but it is something that needs to be resolved. Otherwise, it is really a source of contention in this country, and at some point in time, and we see demonstrations in other Caribbean countries as well, it could really boil over. Folks, top of the hour, headline news. When we return, the conversation will continue, so please stay tuned.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
Cayman's COVID mortality figures has risen with the recent passing of an elderly patient with, quote, severe comorbidities. Public Health reported the loss on Thursday, bringing the total number of COVID-related deaths in the Cayman Islands to 28. Government also reported 191 cases on Tuesday and Wednesday, with more than 1,300 estimated active cases. 6 people are currently in the hospital. Thursday's 7-day rolling average was 97. Good morning, I'm Dion Anglin with your headlines. In news elsewhere, U.S. President Joe Biden has named Karine Jean-Pierre as his new top spokesperson, the first time a black or openly gay person has held the role. Ms. Jean-Pierre, 44, has served as the administration's principal deputy press secretary since Mr. Biden was elected. She will replace outgoing press secretary, 43-year-old Jen Psaki, in the top role at the end of next week. And the man accused of attacking U.S. comedian Dave Chappelle on stage at the Hollywood Bowl has been charged with 4 counts of misdemeanor and will no longer face felony charges. Los Angeles City Attorney's Office has now hit Isaiah Lee, who is 23, with charges including battery and possession of a weapon with intent to assault. Prosecutors concluded that the evidence did not constitute felony conduct. That's a wrap of your headlines. I'm Dion Anglin.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. For those of you just joining us, I want to remind you, in the studio with me, Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Roy McTaggart, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, a former Minister and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh, as well. So, very quickly, because I know you want to move on to some other topics as well, and we want to also talk about the grey list, and I'm not sure whether or not you can tell us where the Cayman Islands is in regard to that, but we talk about Bermuda, and there's an article in the Royal Gazette on the 4th of May talking about the fact that Bermuda will be removed from the EU grey list in October. Of course, there are other lists as well, and I will share this article with you and with our audience as well. But do we need some new creative legislation when it comes to not just access the beach, but when you are actually on the beach, the enjoyment of the beach?
Creative, it may just need updated legislation,
okay.
OC. From a planning perspective, we are going off the old cadastral survey. I think the case that I keep raising is the one in South Sound, where the owner of the property, using cadastral survey, could show that his property went some 20, 30 feet out into the South Sound, and won the court case to fill back in his property.
Yes.
And so if you think about global warming or just nature, then things are going to change when you know, as decades pass by. And then you have a national development plan that was drafted in the 70s. Again, no one was talking about global warming and beach erosion and rising tides and these things. And no one was talking about 10-story buildings, or that was so far out of our imagination at the time, I suspect. I was just a toddler. But and this is where I think one of my disappointments with the PACT administration is this is where the National Development Plan, the Plan Cayman, was, I considered, a low-hanging fruit. Unfortunately, it became a political football. The Plan Cayman was not something that I pulled out of the sky or my government pulled out of the sky. This was a well-thought-out approach to the review of our National Development Plan every 5 years, as the law calls for it, by the young men and women in the planning department. Some very bright young Caymanians who were tasked with this, and they came up with the idea that what we should do is break Grand Cayman up into 5 zones and review each zone, review one zone each year for 5 years, and then you would have been in compliance with the law, and you start over again. No. And you could switch those around, based on whether or not there's been a new developments within that area or whatever. But that is the key to it. And in Plan Cayman, if you read the document, the pre-document that we did that was ready for public consultation, one of the things stopped us was COVID. We couldn't do public gatherings, and we wanted to make sure that everyone, not just those that had access to Zoom or Teams, but everyone would have an opportunity to come out and consult on this. It talks about everything. It talks about everything from rising sea levels to building heights to easy pedestrian accesses. It talks about public areas. It gave us an opportunity to review all of that and put all of these ideas, all of these modern techniques, modern ways of living, because things have changed. There was a time when Caymanians would have given you their beach land. They didn't want it. You couldn't plant anything on it, and storms would come and knock down your house. So it was useless. There was a time, and so this is why it's imperative for us to continue to update that National Development Plan. And I'm saddened in the recent announcements by the Premier that his ministry are now starting to discuss and to devise an approach. But he admitted that this may not take place within his term, and I think that's just sad, because because the Plan Cayman became a political football, and they started attaching individuals to it versus looking at it as a document, as an opportunity for the country to participate in planning its future. Something that was, again, I said, was provided to our cabinet, to myself as minister, and to our cabinet for review and approval by the young men and women in the planning department. The technocrats. I didn't draft this at home while I was sitting in the shower, or out on my hammock. This was something that was brought to us, and we said, wow, this is fantastic. Great idea. Yeah. Government after governments after governments, including previous PPM governments, have failed to try and review the entire Grand Cayman, or the 3 islands, in one term. They failed to do it in 4 years, but the law calls for it to be done every 5. And we thought this was a fantastic approach. And the legwork, the foundation that was done, the document that was released is a wonderful document, encompassing all other reports, the National Tourism Plan, the elderly, and the policy, elderly persons policy. I mean, every single policy and plan that was done was encompassed into this one document for consideration into how we develop our country for the future. And now the public, I think, and this government have realized that I don't care who you put on the planning board. It doesn't matter who you put on the planning board. At the end of the day, they have to follow the law. And you can't break the law for the environment and not break the law for other things. The minute you start to break the law and say, oh, well, it's in the name of the environment, or it's important because of this, then you're going to have to break the law for other things. You're setting a precedence. You're then telling the planning board, you know what? The law is useless. The law is just there, but we can break it whenever we want to. And then to form or to decide to then perhaps bring ad hoc changes to the National Development Plan just to deal with the environment is not the way forward either, because there are much greater, there are equally great issues, equally important issues such as the environment, as people's way of lives.
Okay. We have two callers. Let's grab those callers, see what they have to say. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning to your panel.
Good morning.
Gentlemen, I was listening to Mr. Hugh there speaking about the regulations and the planning and the high water mark, and that's what I would like to address this morning. We here on the Brock, sometimes we have a huge problem with that because our locals are used to being on the bay. They used to walking back and forth with their dog, or when they're crossing, looking for turbot or anything along the shore, they would use access and such to do what they have to do. These different people that come here to buy homes on the beach, which, like what Mr. Hughes said, the older people used to give their property away. They come and they can benefit from the ocean side. They put their homes or they put these big marinas down and blocks the access of the people on the high water mark to cross. And he just got to saying there's laws about the high water mark, but what I don't understand is how it is that planning can allow these people to come and do these such things, not giving the people words of encouragement to say, listen, now when you put this certain marina down or certain ramp for your boats or dig out dredges for your swimming or whatever, or your big homes, you got to remember and place that 10-foot mark from that water edge you do not own. The people believe that they own right out to the sea eggs. They cannot stop people from walking in these areas, but yet they do. And the people here, especially here in Cayman Brac, I don't know much about Grand Cayman. I can speak the same about Little Cayman. You cannot cross people's boundaries because they think they own straight, like I said, just out to the sea eggs. And it is sad for the people because they have nowhere to go, nowhere to walk, and there's no laws. When they pick their phone up and call the police don't even know the laws. They don't even know how the planning sort of. So they come and tell you, listen, if you don't move from these people's property, you'll be arrested. I'm not on their property. I am on that 10-foot mark, that is Crown land. That doesn't owned by no man. And it seems like no one is putting, for years I've been complaining about it, for years, no one seems to be putting anything in place for these things to be taken seriously, because we understand that the time is coming where we won't be able to get no access to the iron shore. We see that coming. But the little 10-foot that we can at least walk across, you mean they got to take that from us too?
Okay, caller, we'll have our panel respond to that as well. He's referring to 10-foot, but let's grab the other caller and then we can respond to both. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning, OC, and good morning to your panel.
Good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend?
Morning. Not too bad. Nice weather up here now.
Great.
Yes, I just want to pose a question or answer whatever it is that what the government intentions are of with the police station right alongside the bakery up here. And the reason I'm asking that now, it's been quite a while, or close to a year at least, since the police have left. Mm-hmm. And they've gone and moved into a place where I'm sure they're paying quite a high figure for rent. Now, as I see it, it seems as if like they're using the property to store cars that have been in accidents or what have you. And it just comes to me like, you guys being the opposition, I mean, and this is not the first time that I'm talking about this, I would just hope that you all would know what the government should do or what will be done in the future, because here I'm at right now, I mean, that no one can really tell me, no one have really told me what the government intentions are as far as regarding the property that right alongside of us. And I would really like to know from both of you point of view on what is being taking place or what's about to take place or what you think will happen in the future.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, caller, for that. We're going to take a commercial break. When we return, give you both an opportunity to respond to both callers as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
At Doctor's Hospital, we know life happens, and usually when you least expect it. So when unexpected medical issues arise, you need quality care close to home. Located in the heart of Georgetown, our accomplished team of physicians and medical staff treat minor urgent conditions such as migraines, chest and abdominal pain, shortness of breath, burns, broken bones, open wounds, and more. 24 hours, 7 days a week with no appointment necessary. Peace of mind is important when life happens. At Doctor's Hospital, we're always here just for you. Need to speak to someone? Call 949-6066.
Every day in the Cayman Islands, nonprofits and their volunteers work tirelessly, improving our communities and the lives of the people within them.
With GiversPlanet.com, you can make a difference by supporting a fundraising effort or starting your own. Givers Planet provides an online solution to conveniently raise money for your worthy cause. Whether you are fundraising for medical needs, education, animal welfare, youth programs, religious missions, school PTA efforts, or a nonprofit.
Simply create your fundraiser at GiversPlanet.com and spread the word to your local and international supporters so that they can visit and make a secure online donation. Start fundraising online today with GiversPlanet.com.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware, custom-designed closet and storage solutions, organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Celebrate this Mother's Day with Cayman Crystal Caves, Sunday, 8th of May. Guided tours include complimentary beverage, carnation, and chocolate, strawberries for mom. Then enjoy a relaxing Mother's Day experience at their Treehouse Cafe. Space is limited. Call 949-2283 or email info@CaymanCrystalCaves.com to book your Mother's Day tour. Change it up this Mother's Day with Cayman Crystal Caves. Didn't you hear? Crystals are a mom's best friend.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. As promised, I'm going to have our panelists, the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, and Deputy Leader and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh, respond to the last two callers as well. Gentlemen.
Go ahead. Oh, yeah. The gentleman from the BRAC, first of all, the Cayman BRAC have their own development board, and the National Development Plan covers Grand Cayman at the moment. And when it comes to the setbacks, I can't speak entirely for the situation he's talking about. Every situation could be different. But we were just chatting on the break about setbacks, and when people are required to have setbacks from the water line or the water, or setbacks from the road, that is a part of a law that says that, okay, it's your property, but if you build anything, you have to build it back 10 feet, 15 feet, depending on what it is, to allow people passage along the roadway or so forth. But that property is still yours. It doesn't mean that someone can come and set up a food stall or park their car and start working in it or whatever. And in fact, you are required to maintain it as well. So if it becomes too bushy and starts to grow out in the road, the law is that you are the one that's supposed to maintain that aspect. So people will put plants and stuff there. So setback doesn't mean that it becomes public property. It just means that it allows people to pass by and gives that distance between the road and the property, or perhaps the coastline and the property. So it is, and I think we go right back to, we need to modernize our legislation.
And when you said when it comes to the iron shore, The high water mark is basically at the edge of the iron shore. Yes.
And it depends on Grand Cayman, that cadastral survey. We spoke about the South Sound thing as well, where there's no beach. There, some of those property boundaries are way out in the water. And then in canals in Grand Cayman, a lot of the canals are privately owned. So every scenario is different.
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Leader, anything you want to add?
No, I don't. I mean, speaking of things that I don't have a lot of personal knowledge over or experience or expertise, that's why I defer to the deputy here to address these sort of things. It's just right up his alley in terms of the work that he did as minister.
Okay. I'd like to switch gears a little bit now. And so on the 4th
Sorry.
Sure.
I would hate to ignore Mr. Moxham's call.
Oh, yeah.
And on the record, and for the record, I want to say that we, as an opposition, are not involved in those decisions. We haven't been informed. In fact, I'll take this opportunity to say we haven't been to Parliament since November last year when we were there for the budget. But I will endeavour to try and get an answer for him from someone in the government.
Okay. Thank you very much for that. So on the 4th of May, that would have been Wednesday, one of the Bermuda newspapers reported that Bermuda is to be removed from the EU grey list in October, and I'll try to paraphrase some of this. It says Bermuda expects to be taken off the international taxation grey list by October after being assured it is now fully compliant with its requirements. The finance minister announced that the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development had confirmed at a meeting last month that it now met with the requirements of its Forum for Harmful Tax Practices. However, Bermuda will remain on a European Union grey list of jurisdictions until October. Something called the FHTP, I'm not sure what those acronyms mean, but I'll find that out, meeting, the government said the FHTP issued Bermuda with an urgent recommendation last November to initiate certain exchanges of information relating to economic substance. These exchanges were completed in December of 2021, fulfilling the recommendation well in advance of the April 2022 deadline. As a result of the November warning, Bermuda was also placed on the EU list of non-cooperative jurisdictions on tax purposes. The EU says the aim of the blacklist or list of non-cooperative jurisdictions, which is published in Annex 1 to be to conclusions adopted by their Economic and Finance Affairs Council, is not to name and shame countries, but to encourage positive change in their tax legislation and practices through cooperation. Jurisdictions that do not yet comply with all international tax standards but have committed to implementing reforms are included in a state of play document, Annex 2, which is also known as the Grey List. Once a jurisdiction meets all its commitments, its name is removed from the annex. And it goes on to talk about the ministry, their Ministry of Finance. But the thing is here, we see what it says. Consequently, it is the ministry's expectation that Bermuda will be removed from the Annex 2 in October 2022, as well. Have we heard anything? Do you know anything about where the Cayman stands with this, or where we were at the last review?
Yeah. Well, first off, OC, what I would say is kudos to Bermuda. That they feel that they're able to develop this expectation, because that's how they couch it, that they feel that they have demonstrated the compliance and that they will be removed from the the grey list. I don't think that they would make that kind of public statement unless they had some real indication that that was likely to be the case. So I think, congratulations to them. We're all in the same boat as far as I'm concerned with regard to these international initiatives. Now, where I recall we were at Cayman was with regard to these reviews and these grey lists was that we were left with 3 action points from the regulators there with regard to, and they all revolved around demonstrated compliance and enforcement of the rules and the regulations that we have in place. Cayman did not have had a very limited track record in levying of administrative fines to financial services entities for non-compliance with AML CFT regulations. And they wanted to see some concrete evidence of them demonstrating that. And I think, personally, my view in what I've seen in the that gets reported publicly is that they are making significant progress. You've seen some very hefty fines levied by SEMA these days, and they're sometimes eyebrow raising.
I see where in one of the Bermudan papers also Conyers, $2.something million fine. Yes, recently.
So everyone is, I think, is stepping up and taking and demonstrating that the enforcement aspect of it. The other ones area that they were criticized us on, or we had an action plan for, was demonstrating enforcement of prosecution of money laundering offenses, and we didn't have anything of any recent substance to demonstrate that with. Now, I really don't know at this point where we are in that area of compliance, but I'm sure that it is being worked on. I mean, if I remember correctly, the final deadline for demonstration of all of these 3 things was February of this year. Okay. That's what I would see. That's what comes to my mind, but I don't want anyone to hold me to that. But that's what I remember, February of this year. Okay. And so I hope that we're well on. I think we are well on the way to demonstrating compliance with those things. So I'm hopeful that we'll hear something publicly not too long from now with regard to that and what the prospects are for us too being removed from some of these lists. I think I struggle with these things because it just seems that as soon they come up with one pronouncement, one edict of what they want you to do to comply, you do and you comply, and before you've even closed the books or closed a chapter on it, there's something else. Yeah, there's always something else.
It's almost like when you were a kid, and you did something wrong and you didn't get beat for it. But then when you did something else wrong, when your parents beat you and say, and this is for what you did a few days ago as well. So for the benefit of our listening audience, the FHTP is Forum on Harmful Tax Practices. That's the forum. That's what I didn't know what the acronym stood for.
I should have known
as well. Now, while we were on those and talking about prosecutions and fines, we know that in Cayman there is a sort of housing crisis, but I believe most people would agree that the housing crisis in Cayman is more for those persons with affordable housing than it is in the upper scale. I could be wrong. But there are persons who have concerns about the real estate industry in the Cayman Islands, how it has blossomed and it has ballooned so far. And there are persons who are fearful that something is going to come back and bite us. I'm going to give you an opportunity to think about that. If you want to opine on it, what we'll do is we'll take the commercial break. When we return, that is one that may stir a little bit of conversation as well. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
We think it's time you crossed over to a new vehicle. And with the Toyota Corolla Cross, now at Vamped Motors, you have plenty of reasons to make the switch. The crossover body and hybrid engine is a sleek design in a sturdy structure with a spacious interior that opens to extensive cargo space. Stuck in traffic? The high-performance self-charging hybrid system automatically switches between gas and electric vehicle mode, helping you lower both fuel costs and carbon emissions. The Corolla Cross has full LED lighting inside and out, an integrated display audio system with energy monitor, and a dual-zone climate control system to ensure comfort for all. Test drive the new Toyota Corolla Cross Hybrid today at Vamped Motors, Walkers Road.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have about half an hour left with the Leader of the Opposition, Honourable Roy McTaggart, Deputy Leader of the Opposition, and former Minister and Member of Parliament, Mr. Joey Hugh as well. So, some concerns about the real estate market in the Cayman Islands. Anything that we should be worried about?
The real estate market seems to have picked back up again, and there was a lull. And on the high end, I just want to quickly say that it's Cayman investment in real estate in Cayman has historically been a solid investment. And with all the turmoil around the world and the banks not giving proper interest, stock markets are falling. Persons are looking to invest their monies into properties, into solid investments that will maintain or increase in value over a period of time. And this is a continuation from when we were during COVID, in the midst of COVID, when Cayman Islands became COVID-free and we were enjoying life mask-free and enjoying Christmas and New Year's, and individuals who owned homes in the Cayman Islands were able to come do their 14-day quarantine, and then they could enjoy this COVID-free lifestyle. We saw a huge boom in real estate sales at that time, and people were buying what we call sight unseen. So they were just buying it online from the realtor and then then they would have an opportunity to come and stay here and live here. And we saw the movie industry come out of that. We've seen a few other industries come out of that because we had these expertise people come in to live on the island and go, wow, this is a good place to do business. On the other side of it, the flip side of the coin, OC is something that's been happening slowly over the last decade or so. And some things were predictable, some were not predictable. The government's efforts to increase financial services and attract companies and individuals to work in that industry was a predictable one. Those persons are going to need somewhere to live. They're going to need spaces in the classrooms to put their kids, etc. And in most cases, the private sector stepped up to that. We saw CIS school double the size of theirs. We see Catholic is building another block. Cayman Prep built a new block. On the housing side, another issue happened, and that was the advent of Airbnb. And we saw rapid growth in stayover tourism in 2017, 18, and that was not through new hotel rooms, because we had only had one new hotel, and that was the Kimpton. A lot of that was through the growth in the Airbnb sector, which we have done and worked with Airbnb to properly regulate it here so that the Cayman Islands government gets their tourism tax from it. But what that has done, while it's been a positive thing for tourism, a positive thing for the country, that has created a vacuum in the housing market, in particular in the middle income housing market. And that caused a compression where persons who would normally rent in that middle income started to rent, some a little below that and some a bit above that, and pushing both markets in that direction. So one would hope and had hoped that the pace of development and the availability of housing would catch up to this, and would in our free enterprise economy would satisfy. You'd have private sector stepping up and satisfying the demand for housing. This hasn't happened quick enough, in particular for those on the lower spectrum, because they are now also competing. The unintended consequences of the private sector stepping up its construction industry to fill the housing market. They had to bring in laborers who had to have somewhere to live, and now we're all of a sudden back to square one with housing. And one of the opportunities I had with the youth parliamentarians, as you know, one of their motions were around housing, to deal with housing. And, in chatting to them, there were a lot of great ideas. And I said to them, all of your ideas come down to one thing. Planning comes down to zoning. And you could actually zone an area to say, for instance, only this type of housing, and you're not allowed any commercial activities such as Airbnb, etc., is not allowed in this zoning. So that when persons that are buying in that zone are buying to live in there, right? Then that will control the pricing. You won't have as much, competition for those properties driving the price up. So you could also zone different, or have different zones, high-rise zones, categories. Zones that you can't build over, apartments can't be over a certain square footage, so that it would inspire, and perhaps you give incentives for the property owner to build not 2,300 square foot condos, but to do some 600 square foot studios and multi-family duplexes, etc. We also embarked just before COVID on a multi-agency committee to deal with housing. And so we had the representatives from the housing ministry, representatives from the community services ministry, providing us with data from needs assessment unit and what their requirements are. And then, of course, representatives from the planning and ministry. And we put them all together, and we had a young man, a very capable young man, Mr. Matthew Hilton, was heading it up from the Deputy Governor's office, and we invited several roundtable discussions with private sector, everybody from utilities to developers to everyone, supermarkets, you name it. And a lot of work had been done. The report was just about to be published on ideas, providing ideas on how to deal with the housing crisis for the most vulnerable. We recognized and identified things such as we needed halfway homes for those young people coming out of either from the temporary housing or from the Francis Bawden Girls Home or from the Bonaventure Home. They have come to age but are not quite yet ready to be on their own. So you would have housing facilities for them, sort of dormitories, that would be semi-supervised. So somebody would come in and check on them in the morning, someone would check in the evening, etc. They told us how many single one-bedrooms they need. They told us how many multifamily homes they need. And then the focus was to how do we provide opportunities for Caymanian landowners to take advantage of this, as well as bearing in mind that we want to do this in a way that we have social
like balance, like
the balance,
yes.
Right? Exactly. Diversification. So we learned that lesson from our schools. We want to make sure that I have never been an advocate for building one area to put any social or demographic together. So this would give an opportunity for Caymanian landowners to participate in a heavily subsidized program with the government to build homes. Ideas where we would provide 10-year leases for X amount of apartments that you build, or one side of your duplex or whatever, across the island, and then you would be able, along with some concessions, planning concessions, etc., you would be able to go to the bank and say, look, I already have an anchor, I have a 10-year lease, I have these concessions, I can build it for this much, and give Caymanians an opportunity to participate in this housing market. So good news is I heard through the grapevine that they have restarted discussions with that. A lot of the legwork was done, and I think I would love to talk this morning, but it's not enough time, but all of the low-hanging fruit that I think that this government could actually take advantage of. And we're past a year into their administration, and it has been frustrating watching the waffling and the excuses, and COVID's here. It's you can't use COVID as an excuse anymore. You're not even dealing with that. There's no more press conferences. We see infections on the rise, hospitalizations on the rise. We had another death yesterday. No press conferences, no information. So you can't use that as an excuse. And it's been 1 year, and we haven't seen anything. We talked about Plan Cayman, we talk about housing, we talk about the National ID program. Where is that? Regen. We've been back and forth. We're not doing it. We're doing an audit on it. No, we're going to move forward with it, but it may not happen this time. These are important issues. These are important national issues, and several of them falling right into the Premier's ministry that were low-hanging fruit that could have been easily implemented over this last year. So it's all been very frustrating watching from the sidelines. But I guess this is a topic that I could talk about all day long. There are opportunities. We do believe that there will be a leveling out of the industry, but with everything positive, you usually have some negative that comes along with it.
Certainly. Thank you very much for that. We're going to take a commercial break. We do have a caller on hold. We will take that caller as soon as we return, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
JN money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money, JN money, I could send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use a money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know it, yeah. JN money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know it, yeah. JN money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Every day in the Cayman Islands, nonprofits and their volunteers work tirelessly, improving our communities and the lives of the people within them.
With GiversPlanet.com, you can make a difference by supporting a fundraising effort or starting your own. Givers Planet provides an online solution to conveniently raise money for your worthy cause. Whether you are fundraising for medical needs, education, animal welfare, youth programs, religious missions, school PTA efforts, or a nonprofit.
Simply create your fundraiser at GiversPlanet.com and spread the word to your local and international supporters so that they can visit and make a secure online donation. Start fundraising online today with GiversPlanet.com.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
New stock has just arrived at Super Stitch. Now don't take my word for it, drop by and see for yourself. Fresh off the boat, we have loads of fabric, vinyl upholstery fabric, fabric for cushions, outdoor fabrics, and dress fabric. That's not all. Super Stitch has sewing accessories and craft items. Included in the new shipment, you will find sheets, comforters, throw pillows, bath mats, rugs, and curtains for every room in your home. Super Stitch, 39 Pasadora Place, Smith Road. Still offering the best price in town. Call 949-2833 or go to superstitch.com.ky.
Stay clean, stay safe, hey man. Reflection sells gallons of sanitizer for only $25. Buy 2 clip-on sanitizers for just $5. Reflections has the best KN95 masks or reusable cloth masks, and you can get 2 for only $5. Blue surgical masks and face shields are available for children and adults, as well as 10 and 50 packs of black surgical masks. Volume discounts available at Reflections. Jose's Rubus, Reflections Hemp and Tobacco, all 5 Liquor for Less locations, and Food for Less open 24 hours every day. Don't miss the Liquor for Less incredible priced better markdown. Hundreds of fine from $2.99. Cases of ice cold below wholesale prices. Save $10 off liters of absolute exclusively at Liquor for Less. Prices so low we can't say them on the radio.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning. Welcome back to For the Record. We have less than 15 minutes left in the show. 2 callers as well. So we're going to try to quickly take the 2 callers. First caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, Mr. For the Record.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I couldn't be better. Good morning to the Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Deputy. There, nice to see you on the show.
Good morning to you, sir. Good to hear your voice too.
And I would just say that as a member of the public and as a member of PPM, which I still am, member number 1, granted alphabetically, but also numerically at the founding of PPM, long before you gentlemen were on the scene, that when PPM was founded, it was to correct some of the very things that PPM has caused, and that one of the issues was beaches and the problems on beaches. Now, we had this agreement December the 15th, 2011, the 4-DART NRA agreement that was signed by the UDP government, and in that agreement are some very damning provisions, and of course it was supposed to be kept secret, but thank goodness for some whistleblowers, it's now available in the library section of Cayman News Service on the NRA. And with the 3 amendments that have occurred and the government's assistance, part of the provision is that if DART makes amendments to laws or wants to close right-of-ways, the government is supposed to assist. And we have seen that manifested in the revisions to the prescription law and registered land law that was done in 2017. And that was done to legitimize the blocking of 2 pedestrian right-of-ways at Royal Palms and Coral Cayman, and 2 vehicular right-of-ways in front of the Kimpton, one of which really isn't in front of the Kimpton, it's at the end of Bradley Key Road. And the government were put in a position, and so was the developer DART, because the planning board gives permission to build the building foundations called tunnels.
Caller, you're going to run out of time if you don't get to your point.
Oh, my point is abuse of power, sir.
Okay.
So, and so what has happened in that case, in these cases, is that the DART attempted in secret and with the acquiescence of the legal department, who did not represent the Public Lands Commission, they were going on October the 28th, 2019, they were going to have a secret hearing in court to extinguish or move, so they said, right-of-ways. And we intervened, 4 of us. That matter is still ongoing. And until the 21st, until the 2nd of February 21, the legal department did not want to represent any action against retaining or recognizing the fact that those blockages were unlawful, and therefore compensation needs to come for damages, and compensations for what has been lost needs to come to the public. Now, we are off as interveners because finally the PLC, Public Lands Commission, got involved in it last year. But we're not hearing anything from the Public Lands Commission. They're not telling the public what's going on these matters. And we look around and we see the public wanting to be put on reservations. We see developments occurring without public open spaces. All of these are the water developments.
Caller, two minutes, because we still have another caller on hold. We have to be mindful of that. Okay.
I can do it in 2 minutes.
Okay.
We see none of these places having launching ramps for boats. We're a maritime community. And unfortunately, my PPM government in September of 2020 attempted to put more amendments to do retroactive legislation to take away the rights of access to beaches and to registered right-of-ways. And I just want to let you gentlemen know that I was disappointed then and disappointed now, because it's now, on November the 30th last year, the PAC government has sent it to the legal department without coming back to the public to draft the legislation to further facilitate the removal of right-of-ways in all 3 Cayman Islands by the use of the public.
Okay. Thank you very much, caller, for that. Gentlemen, I hope you'll have enough time to respond. We'll try. Let's grab the last caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Thank you for taking my call.
Morning, Doc.
Thank you for taking my call to Mr. Record. I'm going to try to be as quickly as possible. And good morning to the leader of the opposition, honorable leader Mr. McTaggart, and his deputy, Mr. Hugh.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My information that I received about one of the reasons for the proliferation of building in the Cayman Islands is that a lot of wealthy people who have their monies in the banks are not comfortable with the reporting requirements that we have in place. And so they're taking their money out and they're developing it by proxy developers. They're not developing it directly themselves. They have a lot of proxy developers developing land in Cayman. And I know directly of several proxy developers who are developing land for other people who may have their money here or they may have their money outside the Cayman Islands, but they have the entities that control those funds. The other thing is that when you look at the Immigration Transition Law 2021 Act, the law, you will see that one of the requirements for status for Caymans for permanent residents is that you have to have property. Now, one of the requirements, one of the point system under the point system, it says that if you have property value $500,000 or more, you will get the maximum points for under that category. So it's no coincidence, and you can mold this. There's no coincidence that the average apartment in Cayman is now $500,000 or over. It's because that's a requirement that if you have property over $500,000, you get maximum points for that. So there's no coincidence. All of a sudden, nearly every little two-bedroom apartment now is $500,000 or more. So those are some of the things that I would ask you to look into, because I have made recommendations to the government about amending some of those laws and so forth, and I don't know where we are going to go. And so I would be able to speak more, but I know I don't have any time left.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Doc. Thank you very much for that. Have a great weekend as well, gentlemen.
Just if I could, just my immediate reaction with regard to these proxy developers. I mean, I'm surprised to hear that, but again, it demonstrates if that is true, just what we were saying earlier about people getting quite coming up with different ways and means and other ways of trying to make their money invested and earn a return if they're able to do it. I mean, I'm just thinking aloud here to OC. I mean, if that is happening, then it's got to be Caymanians likely doing it. Otherwise, they would need some sort of a local companies control license in order to do so. And I'm not hearing, certainly we didn't see it or know that any significant numbers of those types of licenses coming, people seeking those licenses. So it's something I think that needs to be looked into. Then, if that is the case, as I said, I'm just not aware of them right now as to what the true situation might be.
Okay, Mr. Hugh?
Just quickly, I guess the first caller, I mean, I thank him for his comments, and I think that was more of a statement than it was questions. And the second caller, I don't think that, and I may be misunderstanding him, but I don't think that private financing is something new. I think persons who have money in the bank and are not receiving interest rates, and then you also have investment funds and hedge funds that would invest into projects such as those. We saw that with the purchase of the Ritz, and a few of the other hotels were actually bought by funds. But the private financing has been quite popular now ever since banks stopped offering decent interest on your money in the bank. Persons with that level of money are often looking for solid real estate investments to invest in, and you'll find that most of the larger developments are a combination of bank finance and private money. So.
Venture capital.
I think in listening to what Dr. McField said, I interpreted his what he was saying, that these people were best way I would describe it would be fronting for these true investors and developers, and wanting to be developers but not wanting to be known. That's where it was. I mean, private financing has become a lot bigger in terms of the funding of projects these days, and I just see that's likely to continue certainly for the foreseeable future with it, because of the low interest rate environment. I mean, at the moment, you just don't know where and how high interest rates are likely to raise or to grow up. But in any event, for a person with cash wanting to investing it and financing a project such as that does attract a higher rate of return than you're going to get by leaving it in a bank or buying a corporate bond, because you're taking on a lot more risk and you price it accordingly. And
in most of those developments, if they're strata, then you invest your money, you sell them, and you basically walk away from it after your ownership disappears. And Ms. Susan, I don't know if you want to check the there's a voice note. I don't know if we have time to play it. No time to play that. Gentlemen, 1 minute to share between the two of you for closing comments. No more low-hanging fruit, I guess, today.
No, I did. I want to say, just 1 year later, we haven't seen anything in the press. The government have not published a 1-year report. We've heard nothing. We've had nothing except for the mishandling of test kits, the stipend fiasco, Minister Bush cabinet reshuffle, which I think is not over yet. An open disagreement between Auditor General and the Deputy Governor and the press, the DOE, which is a government department, taking the planning department to court. And we're still not hearing from the government. The press conferences have stopped. We haven't been to Parliament since budget in November, and it's been a year. It has been a year. On a positive side, I want to congratulate the Minister and NRA for completing the works, majority of the works in the Eastern District, and getting started on the foundation we laid for the extension of the Linford-Pearson, the completion of Linford-Pearson. I am getting indications that it is starting to show some relief to the Eastern Districts. For those living even further east, though, I think the East-West, at least a portion of the East-West arterial will have to be done. It would be good to get an update on that, but I want to congratulate them. And on behalf of persons have even messaged me this morning to say, and they were saying, you guys were the ones that started it. But no, it doesn't matter who started it. Congratulations, getting it done. People needed relief. And so I will also ask that perhaps during the summer we could resume on the West Bay Road when tourism to finish the ideas that were there. I see a lot more pedestrians, a lot more people on bicycles, and we still have people racing down the middle of the road. Let's finish that up and make it safer for everyone.
Okay, Mr. Leader.
Well, just again, I'm just going to let I think his conclusions are sufficient from us. A lot to think about. But yes, I mean, I do echo his comments and sentiments with regard to the absence of any real visibility with regard to accomplishments of the government over this past year, and really. We need to get back into Parliament now. It's 6 months. I know that there's legislation that needs to be completed and passed. And there's business. I mean, the opposition themselves, we've got business and PQs and private members' motions that we would like to air in.
Just got one more PQ this morning.
Absolutely. And we would, we urge the Premier to take this up seriously. And again, just to conclude by saying happy weekend, enjoy it, and thank you for hosting us again this morning.
Thank you very much. And I'll have to dispense with my closing comments that I just want to say again, congratulations to our boss here, Ms. Norma, for getting her certificate and badge of honor, receiving that as well. Again, happy birthday to Pastor Alson Ebanks, and tomorrow, happy birthday to Miss Paulette. She's celebrating her birthday on Sunday, Mother's Day as well, on Sunday. And happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers, out there as well. Please stay safe and show your appreciation to all of those mothers out there as well. Folks, thank you very much for joining us today and for engaging in the discussion as well.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga Distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient. Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066. And giversplanet.com. Cayman's online platform for fundraising and charitable donations.
Radio Cayman, the voice